Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of StarChasers, Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl Mickey, aka Cravin Cowboys. As you know, I got my girl StarGazer Sports, aka Star in the building. What's up, girl? How you doing?
What's up, everybody? Glad to see everybody in the chat. Before we get started, please like the video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really trying to help, grow our platforms and stuff like that. I know y'all be tuning in, but y'all gotta subscribe and you gotta send this video to your mama and your friend's mama and your cousin and stuff like that, so that we can get more subscribers, so that we can grow, so that more people in Cowboys Nation can be viewing our content. But we got a lot to talk about today, so we're gonna jump right into it.
Yeah. Like you said, everybody hit the like button, hit the share button. If you're listening out on Twitter/X, give us a like, give us a retweet. We're just trying to get our followers up, trying to get our voices out there. As you know, Cowboys Nation is always steadily growing. Just as content creators, we're trying to grow our brand, and also trying to grow our channel, grow our opinions. Make sure we stay in touch with you guys, the fans out there as well, but also stay in touch, with the team. Just trying to, as you guys, I'm sure, heard the news, everyone talking about it in the chat. Mike McCarthy is back, head coach that was here, the head coach that just, had that, whatever performance on Sunday.
Epic, historic.
Yeah.
It was epic
that head coach. Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah, y'all, like what they say, Star? The only team, first team to lose to the 7th seed in the playoffs?
Yeah, we're the first team to lose to the 7th seed in the playoff history, and since the merger, and we were, that was the biggest playoff loss in Cowboys history.
Yep, yeah,
it happened.
Yeah, as you know, when Cowboys like to do things, they like to do things in historical, fashion
for the opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let's
be honest. We hand out some good historical stuff, but we also said some pretty bad historical stuff.
We definitely have those high highs and those low lows. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Our team is high highs or low low. It really ain't no between. What's up, Dagon 50? What's up, Niecy? Glad to see you.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up, everybody coming through? Everybody showing love. What's good, everybody? What's up, everybody?
What's up, Dwayne? Glad to see you.
Yeah.
Glad to see you. Shout out to Am. I love Am. Am brings the passion. Shout out to Keystone. Very glad to see everybody tonight talk about some stuff. I know isn't there a final word that's gonna start? So I know some of y'all might be dipping in and out, but that's okay.
Yeah. Make sure you guys come, just visit us every now and then, tap in every now and then. But yeah, like Star said, we got a lot to talk about. We just go ahead, like Kelvin said at the beginning, we'll just go ahead and start that starting point. Mike McCarthy returning back for the year, which is kind of, like me and Star, we kind of talk about it off camera a little bit. Like we kind of saw this coming. Saying, Gary's
I said it yesterday.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's been here past 4 years now. With this year unfortunately coming to an end. It's gonna be his 5th year coming up. He's definitely, while he's been here, if you guys watch Star's series on Mike McCarthy, he's just really built, just a culture within the team. Not just in my opinion, and I'm sure some other people's opinion, not quite built an identity. We thought he was building an identity last year, but just seemed to kind of go, every which way. We're gonna run the ball, we're gonna do West Coast, we're gonna do ball distribution. So it just seemed to kind of be, even mid-season, right before the bye week, we still had players saying, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who we are. We don't know their identity. So, that's something to think about maybe going forward. Mike McCarthy, as we just said, is coming back. So, I guess we're not going to see any kind of major splashes going on. But I was just kind of telling Star kind of off camera a little bit. I think this is going to, just kind of, I think they're going to try to kind of delve deep, maybe more in the details, maybe kind of make some changes across maybe the assistant staff or maybe assistant coaches, maybe things like that. Of course, me and Star were talking about maybe them changing, of course, the defensive coordinator, but I'm sure it's going to be a conversation for another day. But Star, just real quick, or however long you want to take, what's your thoughts about Mike McCarthy coming back and just kind of continuing just the kind of coaching he's kind of built with this team?
Listen, y'all know I was Mike McCarthy's biggest fan. As Mickey said, did a 4-part series on them. And Mike McCarthy really does have a rich pedigree. He's the most winningest coach in Cowboys history.
Yep.
Right now, as far as in the regular season, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such an enigma, or just perplexing to what happened on Sunday. What's up, sir?
Hold on, sir. How you doing? Thank you for joining us, Mr. Johnny.
And I just think that, you know, it just sent shockwaves. I mean, you can hear, I didn't watch Rich Eyes, and I've seen Troy talk about it. I've seen Michael Irvin. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Like, for everybody, and it's like, you know, all of our, you know, Bobby Belts and RJ and Sean. I've been seeing everybody talk about it, and I think everybody is legit shocked of what happened and how it was like Mike allowed this to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because, but as Nikki said, there were issues and telling signs throughout the year that we wasn't gonna go so far the playoffs. Right. And if I could, hold on, let's see. I don't know if it's gonna allow me to share my screen. I'm gonna try. Let's see if it'll allow me to share it. Because I did want to pull up my tweet that I put out, because I was really doing some serious thinking. People so mad going on Twitter to punch their TVs in, but I did some serious thinking earlier today, and I said, I think I figured out like what the real issue is. So, because of course, Mike's great, right? He has flipped the culture, because you're going from the Clapper, Coach Clapp, right? Jason Garrett,
right?
And losing seasons 8-8. Now you have a coach that you know that we're going to go to the playoffs every single year. However, going to the playoffs is not our standard, right? And with the NFL landscape, everybody thought we're going to go deep this year, right? But there were issues, guys. There were issues, and there were two things that we did not have this year, and it showed all throughout the season. I think as its fans, we really got to look deeper into our season and not always just fanning that all the time because we're winning and all this stuff. And I think we did get caught up in a lot of stuff. MVP, All-Pro, all of that stuff. We got caught up in a lot of stuff. Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes, a lot of the award, and I don't know. I know it's the job. It's the media's job to push that out, and really, for to be honest, it's the fans' job to talk about it, because if the fans talk about their own team getting these awards, they're not going to be recognized.
Who will? I totally agree with that. I think. Okay, here. So,
perfect.
Y'all see my tweet up here? Okay, so because. You know, it's been questions circling around, and y'all should check out 105 The Fan. One is called The Get Right. I don't know those two hosts' names, but The Get Right from 105.3 The Fan, the YouTube channel, they did an excellent take on the culture and issues and stuff like that. So y'all supposed to tweet that out. I also posted that on my X page, so y'all can check that out. But I put here like, hold on. Computer about to run out of battery. All right, but anyway, so I put here, I said, listen, because everybody's like, you know, what's our identity, you know, what's our identity, our culture, you know, people saying, you know, we're just front runners, basically, like this team cannot win if we fall from behind. And so I was like, okay, well, let's go back and look at that deeper. And I said, I don't think this team is always front runners, because I said, in 2021, we were front runners because we could not beat playoff teams. Right. The only playoff teams we beat in 2021 was the Eagles, and I forgot who else it was. It was the Eagles, and I forgot what the other team was, but both of those teams that we beat got first round into the playoffs. Right. So both of those teams got first round into, just like we did that year, right? Yeah. Then we go into 2022. We can't say that we were front runners in 2022, right? Because we had a very good record against playoff teams. Those were teams where we had to battle back and forth. We had to pull it out. Sometimes defense got to stay up and play, and and offense got to find a rhythm. But we were still able to be successful against playoff teams, and that's why we went into Tampa and we beat the dog out of Tom Brady.
Right.
And that people want to talk about a big high pressure moment. We was on the road. And I don't give a damn. People say, "Oh, the Bucs wasn't good." We don't care about that. We had never beat Tom Brady. It don't matter how bad Brady plays. We had never beat him in franchise history. So we had to go to Tampa, and everybody knows it don't matter what Tom Brady. He's like Patrick Mahomes. They just struggle all through the
exactly.
But when they get in the playoffs, it's a totally different ballgame.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So we had to go to Tampa. Play Tom Brady, who had beat us 2 years in a row, and win a playoff game on the road, which we hadn't done in 30 years.
Right.
And we beat the dog right out of the book. Beat him up. Dak Prescott pretty much had one of the best playoff performances of any QB ever in playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
300 plus, 300 plus yards. I think three to four touchdowns.
He had got 4 touchdowns, a rush touchdown. I mean, no picks. It was just like a match.
Right.
The stars of line, right? So that's what we were, and we were 5-3, and we came up just this short. Remember the score versus San Fran was what? 12 to 19. That was it. This wasn't 40, 50 points. This wasn't offense got 0. I mean, it was 12. We was in the game the whole time. There was no garbage stats and garbage yards. The team stayed in it. They kept fighting. They kept fighting, right? So can you say that a team is a front runner when they keep fighting and they put everything they could, they did everything they could to win? They came up short. Can you say that's a front? And the 49ers that was pretty much the top team in the NFL last year. Just like they are this year. That's like they pretty much are every year.
Yeah, for a little bit.
So then, what happened this year? 2023, what was our record against playoff teams? 3-5. Right? We beat the Philadelphia Eagles, the Lions, and who else did we beat? That was the playoff team. Oh, the Rams.
Right.
And Rams first round exit.
Philadelphia
first round exit.
Yeah, the so-called hot team.
Right. First round exit. Exactly. Lions could make it to the NFC Championship, and we were going to dog walk them. So I think we could if we focused in, because we wasn't focusing in, but we could have dog. We should have dog walked them. So you have that. So it's like, but when we face the real juggernaut teams, the Bills, the 49ers,
Miami,
we got our ass kicked.
Yeah.
We got blown. Right. So I think we was all just hoping and dreaming a prayer, because CD's best wide receiver in football, offensive player of the year candidate, Dak, MVP candidate, all pro. I mean, we just got so caught up in all these things,
right,
that we forgot the fundamentals of playoffs is the two things that you need in playoffs to win is a running game and a good defense. And that's what we had in 2022. We had Tony Pollard and Zeke, great duo. Great duo. We was running the ball just fine. And we clearly had a playoff defense, because beat Tom Brady.
We have historical numbers, even with Dak being out, holding opponents to under 20 points. I believe it was.
Our defense single-handedly, back-to-back weeks, we had to play the Rams Super Bowl. We had to play the Rams,
the Bengals,
and the Bengals. We packed them up in full strength.
Exactly.
So, we and that was without Dak Prescott, right? So it's like our defense was really, they pretty much hit their peak last year. And remember, this was the year, 2022 was the year Dak had horrible weapons outside of CD Lamb.
Right.
And we had faced a lot of season-ending injuries that year, right? Remember, we lost Jordan Lewis, we lost Anthony Brown, who else? We lost Terrence Steele. We lost some other people. You know, LBE missed significant time. Hankins. I feel like we lost some like CJ Good. We lost a lot of people, right? Yeah. But we were still able to succeed and win. And I really do think, like, if Mike was calling plays last year in San Fran with the way our defense was playing, we would. Even with
it would have been very different. Like even to the now. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the reserve list. You know, we're signing back Malik Davis. I really think McCarthy would have even just gave Malik Davis a shot. Even just getting in the game, it's one thing, to put a player in the game, to bring them in for a few snaps and see if they can take up, what would have been with Tony Pollard, but to not even give the player a chance, to not give your other running back a chance to even get on the field to see if they can make a difference. That's definitely a coaching error. So
that is a coaching error. And by the way, I know y'all may not know their name, but we have a running backs coach / coordinator. His name is Jeff Blasco.
Right.
And question mark on him, because what was he doing this season?
Right.
Anyway, so the issue, it really boils down to this. What was the issue? Why did we get first round exited by Green Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our defense regressed significantly this year. We knew that. It was evident throughout the season. Anytime we face big-time opponents, defense is falling apart. And once they play, I tweeted this earlier in the season. I said, when our defense, when they can't stop something, they can't stop anything.
At all. And that's the thing, Star. It shows. It shows in their body language. It shows in the way they play. And it also shows in the adjustments, through coaching. Like if we don't see an adjustment through coaching, the way these guys play, their confidence kind of goes down, and so that kind of messes with their minds a little bit. Like we saw it on Sunday with the miscommunication amongst the secondary, or not knowing who to cover. I'm saying just looking. I think I heard on Cowboys, just looking like a college team out there, just running every which way.
Totally, we look like we're the ones who was the youngest team that stumbled in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Not the second seed.
Exactly.
Right. So. But what happened this year is our defense regressed significantly, and we never established the running game. It would be good this week, bad this week. This week we use Deuce. We don't see Deuce for 20 years. This week we use Rico. Rico gets 2 carries next week. This week we're featuring Hunter Lukey. Next week he ain't touching the ball no more. It was they never could figure out how to use the personnel and how to get us a consistent running game going that married to our pass game. Yeah. And so we never figured that out. So when you don't have a running game, and then Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott see this Green Bay team march straight down the field and score immediately.
Six out of the first 7 possessions, y'all, were touchdowns.
You could tell
6 out of 7 possessions, y'all, were touchdowns.
You could tell that Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, what in their head was like, here we go. Even from the first snap, when Dak, he does his thing, he daps everybody up. I could just tell.
Yeah,
that was not typical. They were like, all right, guys, we're gonna do this. I could just tell they was like, here we go. Like, it's gonna be one of these games because the defense is not showing up, right?
Exactly. So it's always a little just a little nerve wracking. We talk about through the year, Star. It's always nerve wracking when the defense allows an opening drive touchdown.
And they did it pretty much. Every big team we faced, they let that offense mark. Every big game we had, go check it out. They let the offense march right down the field and score immediately.
Period. So, whether and it's one thing to let a team score a field goal, but you didn't even get a field goal, y'all.
They're not even making field goals. Right? They can't get off the field. So when our defense regressed significantly, this is why you saw. So what was the issue with Mike? This is why in big games you saw Mike McCarthy coast by. Yep. Because we would have this great offense, and then it's like we get the big games, and it's like Mike calling nothing but slants and running it up the A gap. Like it's like, but why is Mike doing that? Because in the biggest moments when he sees his defense failing, Mike goes, all right, we can't get a single turnover. We can't afford a turnover because if we turn this ball over, we're gonna lose. So you know what Mike does? He gets real tight we're close up, and he started calling plays like that.
Exactly, and not just Mike McCarthy, but Schottenheimer too. I don't know if it was Mike or Schottenheimer who admitted kind of earlier on in this year that they were trying to essentially protect Dak from those interceptions. You know, they didn't want him throwing as much. They were trying to, you know, prevent some of those turnovers. So early in the season, they kind of, you know,
both of them. It was both of them. And you're struggling. Mike and Dak are going to have to take the next level. But anyway, let me finish it. So Mike gets tight to the vest, and that doesn't go well with your quarterback. Because if y'all haven't realized now, Dak Prescott is not a throw. He's not going to throw the ball away if he does not throw the ball away. Because
I'm trying to learn too. That's just not Dak.
That's who he is. Dak Prescott is a guy that he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do something to make a play, and he doesn't care. He said it in press conference. He's like, and if I had to turn the ball over to do it.
Right, exactly. He said it. He said, I'm gonna keep throwing the ball. I ain't gonna stop throwing.
Dak is the type of quarterback. If it is better for Dak to do something than to not do anything at all.
Right.
So when he sees the defense sucks, Mike McCarthy is calling plays where he's tight to the vest. Mm-hmm. What do you see Dak Prescott doing? Pressing. And when Dak Prescott presses, that's when the turnovers occur.
That did happen. Mm-hmm.
So the way that you mitigate that for Mike to not be, you know, when Mike is like, oh God, I'm giving a little panic, and Dak is like, this naysayer is calling these crappy plays. He's not moving the ball. I'm getting upset. Dak's not getting upset, and then he's getting upset because his wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, I don't know what was wrong with CeeDee Lamb, but
that body language out there was not encouraging. Like just the way they were, because at first it was kind of like, okay, he missed a throw. The second one he missed, okay. And then you see him kind of going back and forth. It's like, okay, are we doing this again, y'all?
Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the best wide receiver in football. If the ball hits your hand, you got to catch that.
Like, sir, you lead the NFL in receptions. What are you doing?
He was not locked in. He was clear. He was not locked in. Like, Mike having to go there and console him. Dak looking at him like, what are you doing? Like, this is the biggest game of the year, and you dropping balls, dog?
And that's what kills me. Like, and people are, for that interaction, people are killing Dak for it. And I'm like, yo, Dak, you see it hit his hands. It hit CD in the hands 2 times.
I don't care if the ball was hot. I don't care. You're supposed to be the best wide receiver in football. So you are supposed to help mitigate if your quarterback's a little off, or if the ball's you're supposed to be the caliber player that always catch that.
Exactly. Even the shot to the end zone where he kind of tried to pull it in one hand. I heard someone talking Cowboys like, look, if that was the other 88, that might have been pulled in. You feel me?
Like CeeDee Lamb, whatever was up with CeeDee Lamb, Brand Cook, they were off that first half. Yeah. Because even when Dak threw that deep ball to Cook, and that's another thing with Cook, I think we might need to get somebody else because that's
right. I'm with you on that. Like, I'm not against Cooks, but I don't know. Something is like,
I don't know. I just don't think he's that dynamic. I'm sorry, I don't know, but it was crazy. Go ahead.
Like, no, I would say, like, during camp, like, they were, you know, that was what they were advertising. That's kind of like the advertising of camp, like the deep ball to Cooks.
Right. And then in the year, he just never could catch it.
Never.
It's like, I never even
Star, you say never, like.
He never caught a deep ball from Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak had it with CD, he had it with Turpin, he had it with Gallup. But Cooks, we brought you here to catch a deep ball, bro. And you can, like, when Dak would throw it, Brandon Cooks wouldn't even try to lay out and get it.
Right. He still fights with the receiver.
The ball just dropped right in front of him. Like, this past game, I'm not lying to y'all. I know y'all Dak's up, whatever. But go back to Cook and Dog 22. Dak throws a dime to Cook.
Right.
First of all, Cook is getting covered by Corey Valentine. Who is Corey?
Who's been getting rounded up through most of this year? Who
calls the penalties?
Like, come on, like
the ball literally landed right here. If all Cook can do, just reach your hands out.
Just reach out and touch. Reach out and touch that ball, man. Reach out and touch that ball, man.
Touchdown, dog. Cook just lets the ball drop in front of him. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what it is, but Cook, I know he on a 2-year deal, but we're going to get into draft content and stuff later throughout this offseason, but
yeah,
I'm ready for somebody, for CD too. We need to bring somebody in here that's another dog, because CD got us, he really got us effed up. That, doing all that stuff in the playoffs, I don't have time for it. And
like,
this
bro,
is
it's 27-7, and you celebrating after a touchdown. Like, get your, like Jake Ferguson, get your butt down the field and get back in formation.
Jake Ferguson was screaming at Mike McCarthy, like, let's get this going. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, let's get it going. CD does not suck. Let me not say that, but we need to have somebody in here where CD just can't think. Oh, I can just do whatever I want. You guys need that's on the field. That's in the NFL. I'm
right. Like, for real, like I ain't gonna say everybody should be getting the Gallup treatment, but when Gallup started seeing his snaps go down, we saw him a little bit of improvement. And I'm not saying we should see snaps go down, but
Gallup
man,
everything in this game. Gallup and Ferguson coach everything. Cooks and CD, they just decided not to show up. They didn't show up for the second half when things were pretty much already out of
hand. Exactly.
So anyway, the way to mitigate that, the way to fix this issue, what really happened, we didn't have a running game, right? We didn't have a consistent running game. We didn't have the defense. So when this stuff was going on, there was nothing that we could do to this, because our passing game was off. There was nothing we could do to really settle ourselves into a rhythm. That's what the issue. If we had a running game, that wouldn't have been a problem. We would have been able to settle in. Dak settled in. Mike settled in, but they didn't have that. So I really do think all we need is a good run game. And I'm done. Y'all know on this show, I've been done with dancing. So a good run game, a new defensive coordinator that comes in here that believes in linebackers, knows what to do with Micah Parsons, and the personnel that we have. That's the only two pieces that we're missing, guys. For real. Like, I know we wanted to blow it up. Let's get rid of that. Let's see what we got in Trey Lance. Let's draft Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. I get all of that. I get it. If everybody was pissed the hell off, Dak told the go to pick all this stuff. I encourage y'all, look at Kurt Warner and all these guys explain what was going on around Dak. Because I know y'all just look at the game and you're like, Dak sucks. So please go look at former quarterbacks and Hall of Famers explain what was going on, so y'all can understand what was going on.
What's really going on, right? Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Like, Dak in big moments, it's not that he doesn't show up. In big moments when things are crashing around him, he feels like, all right, everything's on me. I've got to put the cable. I've got to figure something. I've got to force balls. I've got to just work. And he starts getting tunnel vision, right? So he misses some reads. He misses some throws, stuff like that. So you need something. That's pretty much your only flaw of Dak Prescott. It's not how he throws the ball or mental toughness and stuff like that. It's that he wants to win so bad. I don't understand that, because I was the same way. Whenever I really want to do something, you start pressing, and when you start pressing, you start messing up. So you need to figure out.
And it's like a domino effect. You start messing up, then you try to make up for that. You try to make up for that. You try to make up for that.
Exactly.
And even like Dak said, he felt like his mind was going faster than his body.
Right.
That's everyday behavior. When you rushing in life, say you're running late, you feel like you're forgetting something. You're trying to remember what you're forgetting, and then it ends up kind of messing. It could be like a domino effect where the rest of your day starts to kind of fall apart because of that one thing you feel like you're messing up. So that's really like a human. It's really just a human side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
it's just a human side of exactly. It's a human side of things. So, what we really need. Dak, first of all, Mike and Dak have to do self-scout, and they have to realize Dak but the way that you really mitigate that, it just get Dak some assistance, so that when his wide receivers are being stupid, or when he's getting amped up and he's getting a little bit nervous, he has something to rely on. That's it. All quarterbacks need it, guys. I don't care if you're Tom Brady, Joe Montana, I don't care, Dan Marino, I don't care, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. All quarterbacks in the postseason, they need a running game. and they need a good defense. If you don't have those things, you're saying, hey, quarterback, our whole success tonight depends on you. It's on you and you alone if we win this game. And nobody can really perform under all that pressure. I'll just be honest.
Right.
Like, I tweeted, y'all can tell me the quarterbacks that won the Super Bowl with no run game and a sucky defense, please let me know. And even if they, I guarantee you're not going to be able to find one, but if you do, it's going to be like maybe one or two people, not the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So, give my quarterback a running game, and that's going to help him. That's going to help Mike McCarthy when Mike McCarthy is getting nervous. And get us a guy that can use the talent and personnel that we have on defense and get something going. But then, Quinn,
exactly, because even if you do have a run game, because our run game wasn't exactly terrible, but if the defense is allowing points, we can't. Because we even see McCarthy.
You can't go far. You can't go far. Look what happened to the Browns.
Exactly.
Like, you can't go far. You can't go far without a good defense. You need a defense that can keep you in the game. And the thing is, once the offense settled, it didn't matter because the defense was still giving up touchdowns on every drive. So it really didn't matter. Right. It's like every time we score, they score again. It's like, in order for us to get back in this game, you have to throw. You're going to have to throw. Right. So, in order for you to get back in the game, your defense has to get stopped. Like, period. So, that's all your quarterback needs. Your quarterback with worse personnel beat the dog crap out of Tom Brady in his house. Like, come on, guys. Dak Prescott, the reality, he made Tom Brady retire. He's like, I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. Like, your problem is not your MVP candidate all-pro quarterback. That's the problem in Dallas. They're not the problem, guys. And I know, well, he threw a pick. Yeah, he did. Okay. Oh, he threw a quarterback throw pick. Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship threw 2 picks. Right. 2 picks last year and they lost. If we get rid of y'all gonna get rid of Joe Burrow? Like, that's dumb.
Right.
Guys, like, let's be honest here. Like, let's think with our brain. Like, you don't get rid of your leader. You don't get rid of a guy that literally is MVP all-pro candidate. Like, you don't get rid of that guy. You know, if we had Mac Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo, yeah, it's time for a change. Absolutely. But you don't get rid of Dak Prescott, a guy who just led the league in touchdowns and still had, even with his playoff meltdown, had the second highest QBR of the season. Like, come on, guys. Think about what you're saying. It doesn't make sense. For Trey Lance, for Bo Nix, for Michael Penix Jr., that's what y'all want to know.
Right.
I know we do that when we have the team right now. Now, we would just far off. Like, that's when you do a complete rebuild because you're like, this team sucks. We're in the middle of the road. We need to sell our old ass players and rebuild. We're not at that point yet. We'll get to that point eventually, but we're not at that point yet. So, no, we don't need to blow everything up. And, you know, as far as Mike McCarthy, I'm fine with Mike McCarthy saying, but he's going to have to start. Remember how last year in 2022 he started to micromanage Kellen a little bit? He's going to have to do that. Like, you have to keep Cole Schottenheimer accountable. Right. So if I can stop sharing my screen, we can get to the PowerPoint. But I really did want to just say that piece and talk about that because I think, you know, I get it. We're all upset. We're just so upset that they lost, right? But I'm sorry, your problem is not your MVP all-pro quarterback. And that's the problem. People always think, he just can't get it. They were saying that same shit about Peyton Manning. He just can't get it done. One of the best quarterbacks in NFL here, he just can't get it done. Like, y'all realize Peyton Manning had a loss in playoffs that was 0-40?
Man,
they never lost 0-40. It's like, come on, guys. And Peyton Manning had Hall of Famers. Like, you gotta figure it out. Give your court whatever I don't care what flaw that get, whatever he needs, give him what he needs so that he wins. Yeah. And I guarantee you it's not perfection. It's not perfection. He just needs what every other quarterback needs. Good defense, good game. It's really not that complicated.
No, you're good. That's actually a good segue. Like you said, moving forward, you know, we're just kind of wondering, like, what's the next move going to be? Like, what's, you know, the organization, as we see the next, you know, we're going to obviously keep in mind McCarthy, we can kind of assume that they're going to, hang on to Dak. They're probably going to see about extending him, creating more cap space, bringing in hopefully some more players. Hopefully, I actually saw, I don't know if you got a chance to check out the new show the Dallas Cowboys radio actually come out with the draft show where they had Aisha Morrison, Brian Broaddus, I think Kyle Yeomans, some other beat writers on there, kind of reporting the news and starting on the draft season, because of our abrupt into the season. But actually, Aisha also actually brought up a good point that actually kind of wanted to pick it back up. We were just talking about Star, about if you do decide to bring in a new coordinator, or if you do decide to kind of change things up, it's actually going to, actually really change out the philosophy. So I need to bring up this slide right quick. So that's actually going to be the most important things, like, the foundation of this team, it's, I'm not going to say it's broken, but, just with this loss, with the way the guys played, with the relationship between Dak and Mike McCarthy, Dak and the other players, Dak and the defense, like you were saying, Star, the other day, it might be kind of broken now. The trust might be kind of broken. DQ, he might be taking another job, whether he does or not, this may not be the right, place for him anymore. And just the kind of point that Miss Aisha was bringing up is that, it's been, 3 or 4 years that Dan has been here. So I think, team is starting trying to figure out, this, she said in most of our losses, I think there was a tweet, I'm just going to read off from the top of my head that I think in the 18 L's that we've taken since Dan Quinn has been here, that the points per game as far as the losses have been at least 20 plus points, 23, 24 plus points as far as the average amount of points that have been scored against us when we lose. Mm-hmm. So as we've seen, especially more so this year, offense is kind of attacking the fact that we have, safeties convert to linebackers trying to stop the run. As we can see, Marquise Bell, thankfully for him, he did step up, but some of these guys aren't necessarily, built for that role. So just kind of a point that she brought up is that if you do bring in a change in the staff, if we do, for instance, bring in a different defensive coordinator, or if we decide to elevate from within, even if so, a change in staff is still a change. So even if they just, that new coach staff brings forth their philosophy, it's going to be important to establish a foundation for these men, because as we can see, like we mentioned earlier, with their identity kind of being all over the place, this team may not know who they are in the important moments. Like as we say, as people say in life, who you are comes forth in those important moments when you got to stand up for yourself, and you got to, when you got to, stand true to your morals, and you got to, do the right or wrong thing, fight or flight. What are you going to do in these big moments? Like the team that we see, unfortunately, this past weekend, but they kind of took flight instead of, standing up and fighting. So, that's kind of important throughout the year to kind of come up with an identity, not just for the offense, not just for, the ball distribution, things like that, trying to, score points, but also for the defense as well. I don't know if Dan Quinn's philosophy has, it's definitely worked. Like you said, it's definitely worked for the system, but as teams begin to figure this out, what adjustments are going to be done, not just, throughout games, throughout the season. Like, as we've seen, Brian Broaddus kind of brought this point too. Like, we saw from the beginning, coming out of camp, that linebackers were thin, linebackers were a problem. Well, it wasn't just after camp. It was Arizona when we got ran on. It was later throughout the season in Buffalo when we got ran on. And these major losses, and most of our major losses, we got ran on, y'all. And even this past week, we got ran on. So it's not like the front office didn't know. It's not like Mike McCarthy didn't know. It's not like Dan Quinn didn't know. So at this, throughout the season, hopefully we can come, somebody, hopefully within the organization kind of get this kind of message across. But are we going to, are the Cowboys going to continue to be negligent to these problems? Just straight up, blind to the fact that you don't have the personnel to do, to make these stops, to stop the run. Sending these smaller guys, 200 plus, 215, 220 pounds, to go up against these linemen, just not fit. It's not out.
It's not going to work, right? And I
think. Just to finish the point, like it's just going to be very important going forward to be able to establish a strong foundation, just not for the offense, but the defense as well. Because with the personnel that we have, it's just going to be, they're going to need the right foundation, the right philosophy going forward.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. We need the right philosophy. You need the right foundation. Obviously, this exotic defense and stuff like that Dan Quinn's trying to do, it caught up to you. And also,
like you say, Star, Dan Moore. Dan Moore, for real.
Yeah, no real linebackers minus running game equal mentally soft players. Yep. And that was the issue, and it was prevalent. It was prevalent all throughout the season, but You know, when you see your quarterback and your number one wide receiver, I mean, they're having career years. I mean, it's like we getting Brandon Cooks involved. It seemed like we had everything, but we were missing a fundamental component. And we were hoping that we could run in the playoffs. Couldn't really do it that well. You know, even when we wanted to maybe keep up with the run, the defense is melting down. You can only run the ball if the defense ain't giving up score after score.
Okay, exactly.
So that's another thing.
You're really working against yourself because you're running the clock out on yourself.
You're running the clock, exactly. You're running the clock out. So,
right, yeah.
I think, you know, Mike, you're going to have to make some changes because your assistant coaches, they essentially failed you this year.
Right.
But you're the leader, Mike. You're in charge. When your run game coordinator wasn't doing jack squat, you should have been going up to him like, what are you doing? Because this running game is not, I'm not really feeling it's not really working. Doesn't feel like it goes. Everybody knows when we're going to run the ball. Our offensive line can't really run blocks very well. This team is trying to, like, what's going on?
And we can see his frustration on the sideline. We can see McCarthy.
Right, like, it's like, what's going on? Like, running back coach, why aren't you working with Tony on his vision? Like, how long is Tony's vision going to be an issue? Mike Solari, why are we, you know, Jeff Glasgow, why are we still running this full gap scheme? Hasn't worked all year. Shotgun runs hasn't worked all year. Like, what are we doing? Then Schottenheimer. I know we love Schottenheimer. He's the passionate one. He's the one screaming on the sidelines and high-fiving and hit people on butt. But why? What was up with the details of this offense that lost us critical games and big moments?
Right.
Like, y'all said Mike was all about the details, but we kept seeing from the route combination to the players' preparedness, details are missing. That's
right. Lack of discipline. We saw once again. Reminiscent of the 49ers game, penalties on the first defensive drive, causing a touchdown. 2 penalties on the opening drive for the defense.
Right. That's on defensive. That's on Dan Quinn. But even in the offense, where was y'all kept saying we're focused on the details, but we weren't really seeing that because in the biggest game of the year, the wide receiver's not running his route correctly.
Right.
The route, the slant route, Mike just kept running, which Mike needs to fix that shit. Slant route. Yeah,
Cooks and CD in the same area, both behind the line of scrimmage.
What? Exactly. Why we continue to have these mental blunders? Y'all need to figure that out. The details, because I remember when I forgot what his name was. But he was Mike Marks. Mike Marks did a whole breakdown of Dak Prescott. He loves Dak Prescott. He's amazing. It's crazy how every guru, head coach loves Dak. They're like, he's good, throw the ball everywhere. He's like a triple threat. He's this, he's that. I mean, he's pinpoint accurate. Like, they have all this stuff, but everybody like, get rid of that. I tell you, there are coaches. Shanahan will push Purdy off a cliff to get.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
Did y'all see the Steelers this past Saturday?
Mike Tomlin would cut off his right hand to get that Prescott in the middle.
Like,
Mike Tomlin was like, we go
I'm like, yo, we got baseball.
Like, y'all crazy. Like,
I knew every play that they played. I know Tomlin was like, yo, if I just had somebody out there, but besides Mason Rudolph, if I had somebody besides Mason Rudolph,
like y'all are crazy, man. Like, it's
like,
crazy.
Really? Like,
but it's like, and so I don't hate. I said this. I already knew we was gonna bring Mike back. I didn't hate the part because him and Dak did build a good chemistry. But
we see it. I don't mean cut you off. And it improved his game. It improved, like he said, it improved his mentality on the field. It improved his confidence. And it really, like you said, it just helped him out. Really, overall, it helped him with his confidence with his team. You know, it built his rapport with the team. He was able to get the ball to more players, not just the number 1, 2, and 3 receivers. You know, he built the rapport with Jake Ferguson. He built rapport, getting Turpin involved, getting the running backs involved. So he's able to, kind of expand, the confidence without the team. And it all starts with Mike McCarthy. And it didn't just start with that because, Dak didn't have that control until McCarthy gave it to him.
Right, exactly. That's true. Like, that control, that empowerment, he did. He had Dak playing with swag this year. Dak was playing with a different swag, a different tune, different beat to his drum.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like you don't really want to destroy that, but Mike, you gotta fix some things. You gotta fix some things when it comes to assistant coaches on the offensive side and the defensive side. And I really do think our offense, all it's really missing is the physical component, and that physical component comes from a running game.
That's
so
huge.
when teams want to hitting too high all freaking day, that's what they want to do today. They want to sit in too high and confuse pitchers and stuff like that. Because you see, teams play everybody differently. They can't play Dak. Dak is great at everything, but too high man, and it's because you need a consistent running game not too high, but too high man, to this regular cover 2, cover 4 quarters, all that stuff. Like, you need a running game to get them out of that. But when you don't have a running game that like people take seriously, what can happen? Remember what happened to play? Something else I forgot. Last year's playoff game. Who do we lose? Tony Pollard. So our dynamic duo, we didn't have that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and we gotta start treating running backs like they do in San Francisco. We need to have running backs that are ready to go. Get a game that's ready to go. So it's like, oh, this one did down, put another one in there. Like, we gotta have, because we have to be able to think of the best teams this year, guys. 49ers, Ravens. Who else did? 49ers, Ravens, Bills.
Yeah, exactly. And the Bills, I mean, when have we known the Bills to really have a run game like that?
But even now they got a run game, and look at what's happening. They got Josh Allen, a really good running back, a good team, and look what's happening.
And it takes the pressure off Josh as well.
It takes the pressure if he don't feel like he's got to press. Josh can now win games now if he gets 0 touchdowns.
Right. Even with the turnovers, y'all.
He can win games. Because why? Because he has a run game and he has a defense now. Right. That's it. Your quarterback's not going to be perfect in playoffs. Like, go look at Burrow in playoffs. Go look. The only person that's just unworldly is Patrick Mahomes. You know, and I attribute Patrick Mahomes half to his ability, half to Andy Reid.
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
Right. And also, let's be honest about Buffalo's defense. They have really been one of the most injury-riddled, at least that side of the ball, the defense, this whole year. Buffalo's defense has really gone through it. And so for the defense to still be able to step up with those young guys willing to put forth.
Exactly. And that comes from McDermott, the head coach.
Exactly.
He's got those guys ready to prepare.
Okay, even Tennessee came through. They had nothing to play for, and Tennessee defense came through and pretty much stunk up. Really was a spoiler to the Jags end of the season. So, like Star mentioned earlier, it's important to have a defense. And who? Derrick Henry. Okay, so like she said, a run game in the defense.
Like, that's how. Why you think guys like Ryan Tannehill got the AFC Championship?
Right.
And you gotta talk about Dak's answers. Like, just shut up. It doesn't have anything to do with Dak. Right. It has to do with what's around and established around Dak. And some people are like, well, how many coordinators? Well, we're not getting a new coordinator, but y'all talk about Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore like those are good coaches.
Right.
And Dak, with everybody he's had, has the number 1 offense or like top 5 offense. So, like, please stop it. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, all your quarterbacks, even Patrick Mahomes, he passed for like 150 yards in the Super Bowl. Dog, like, come on now. Why? Because he got Pacheco. And he had Travis Kelce.
Even in that cold game, like, they were still able to go to Pacheco and run the ball and get those touchdowns. Like, it's important. Like
you gotta
travels.
Right.
And
they got a top 3. They got a lights out defense. He's always had a great, I don't care where the Chiefs are ranked in the season. When they get into the playoffs, they play defense. Because you got Spagnuolo. And guess what? Spagnuolo, I looked at the history of Andy Reid, they're yin and yang. They was together with the Eagles.
Right.
So,
and I'm glad you mentioned that, Star. Like, that's something to say. Like, the Chiefs were never world known for their defense, right? Like you said, they don't necessarily play, that strong all the way through the season. But when playoffs come, when that important time of the season comes, that's when they show up, right? That's when they make a difference.
They play up.
that's another thing that I want the Cowboys to consider going forward. Like, as we've seen before, Jerry talking about, well, we want to beat the East. We want to be well equipped to beat the East. We want to win the division. This, that, and the third. Well, me and Star talked about it earlier. Early in the season, like it's one thing, we've kind of been there. The Cowboys kind of been there for a few years, beating the NFC East, beating the NFC. Well, now it's time to start for these guys to start stepping up. Now that we've seen the team we have double-digit, wins 3 years in a row. We're making it to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Okay, so now we can assume that this is a playoff team. We're going to see playoffs. We should see playoffs, I should say, every year. Well, now it's time to start, really just increasing, like me and start talking about the details of the game. Start preparing for these upper echelon teams. Okay, we don't just see the NFC East. We don't just see the NFC anymore. And if we're talking about playoffs every year, we're gonna have to start getting ready for these AFC, not the AFC teams necessarily, but we're gonna see them. We can't avoid them.
Like I said, when you look at the best teams, the teams that are still in the playoffs, they got the Texans. They got a defense. That defense is good, very good, and they were already good with Lovie Smith. Then you add the Miko.
Right. It started last year. The foundation, exactly.
They've been building, and then you add the Miko Ryan, who's had the best. He's had the best defense for the past 3 years with the 49ers. Right. Like, come on, you gotta have good defense, good running game, and decent, great. If your quarterback has an elite Hall of Fame weapon, congratulations. But the greatest quarterbacks, they don't really need every weapon to be Hall of Fame. They just need good to great, somewhere in there, and they can win. They can make it work, because I watched the clip with Bill Belichick 2 years ago when he was talking about Dak Prescott, and he's like, Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I saw that tweet you put out. Yeah.
He was like, he's the trigger. He was like, he makes everything go. Everything go. So you don't need, it's not like, he just needs everything. He needs 5 He needs what Brock Purdy needs and all these guys and Lamar. He doesn't need that.
Exactly. And it, trust me, it pains me to say, but we see what CJ Stroud is doing with a relatively newer team, younger guys. Like, granted, Tank Dell did go down early, unfortunately, but I mean, he got hurt on the show. I don't know Noah Brown, and he turned
Brown bringing up Nico Collins, Show. All of these guys, these are guys that are playing.
Yeah, what's Singletary? They're running back.
Devin Singletary. I don't. Slowick has because Devin Singletary was terrible in Buffalo. Right. Horrible.
Right.
But Slowick, he done turned Devin Singletary. I don't know who, but that boy down there running that ball.
Correct.
Because running that ball, I don't know what Slowick.
Right. Exactly. I ain't gonna say he was a non-factor in Buffalo, but he wasn't running like James.
He was a non-factor. It was not good. But when you get good coaching, right, and you got good players, you can do it. So it's I actually this was the best decision for the team, because if you get rid of Mike McCarthy, it's you're pretty much leaving this whole. I mean,
you might as well. Right.
I mean, at this point, just blow it up. I just feel unless you get an old school coach, because I can't see a new school coach coming in here.
Right.
He may say, I don't want this guy. I want this. I have a vision for this guy, and I want these guys. I don't like David Tolbert. I don't. CeeDee Lamb, he's good and all, but I mean, he ain't gonna be featured in my offense. I want to get Mark Evans. You don't know what these coordinators want, so it's when we see that something was working, you don't really want to destroy that because they came up short.
I was just gonna say that. And how can you imagine trying to get a whole locker room full of guys trying to follow a new coach who they built trust with? McCarthy,
until now a new guy's gonna come in. How y'all know these players are gonna play for them?
Right. He let them spend time with their family. They get to sleep in their beds. He trusts them to go out on the weekends. For having to report back on Mondays. McCarthy has put the human element first. So if you come in with a guy trying to act tough, trying to say
it may not work well. It may not work well for these kids. Bill Belichick, he's a legendary coach, but the Patriot way it's not for everybody. Y'all know Josh McDaniels, he tried to bring the Patriot way to the Raiders, and they were depressed. That locker room was depressed. not everybody can handle the Patriot way. The Patriot way is the Patriot way. Like, not everybody can handle that. And so, it sounded good. I know Bill Belichick loves.
Bruce, how you doing?
That's right, Bruce. Like, they blown up now. Like,
yeah,
you're talking about a full rebuild. So your team to get back to this point, you're talking about 5 years. Gary will be 90.
Yes, and these guys are, like you just mentioned earlier, like these guys are, granted that you may think that maybe guys are easier to mold when they're younger, but as you can see, it's a little bit tougher to kind of bring these guys in. I mean, Dak has said he feel like the older guy in the room. I don't know if you guys heard earlier in the season, but even, I mean, like we talked about earlier, Stafford, the Rams kind of came, they kind of up and down, they finally found their groove, but even Stafford mentioned at the beginning of the year, he was having players. And he was having a hard time with players as well. So we see the generation getting younger. And me and Stark, I talked about it too, that it may just be the turn of the NFL. Like we're seeing younger coaches come in, younger, faster offenses coming in. Like granted, someone like me just mentioned with the Shanahan tree, we see these coaches coming in with similar offenses. We see with the Seahawks, the Rams. Teams we face this year that have, the motion, Miami Dolphins, stemming from the 49ers, stemming from Kyle Shanahan. So we're facing a lot of these similar offenses, but it's like he just mentioned in the comment right there, if you don't make the adjustments,
and you've got to get a coordinator in here. Right. You've got to get a coordinator in here that knows how to stop the Shanahan tree and knows how to put the personnel in the proper position to stop the Shanahan tree. And unfortunately, Dan Quinn's defense is terrible for the Shanahan tree because it's a man-based defense. It's man-based or it's cover three. I mean, that's what the Shanahan tree and the McVays and all, that's what they're built to stop. So that's why we just got absolutely shredded. And you don't have players in right positions. We need a coach. We need a new voice to come in here because Dan Quinn, weird allegiance to Curse when it was clear that Curse had significantly regressed.
Okay.
It's weird. Like, that's weird.
Still forcing Dono out there coming back from an injury, and he's not, not all the way up back on his feet just yet. When we have Wanye, who's been making standout.
Like, I don't know what happened there, but we need somebody else to come in and evaluate and see these players and who can put it together because.
I think I saw a shout out to Foster King tweet now. I think I saw him tweet out, like, why haven't they played Izzy all year? Like,
what did he do so bad?
Right. And I'm not saying we should see these guys, but that's how I mentioned earlier about what Malik Davis coming back. Like, you guys re-signed him to another futures contract, but what are you
not gonna resign him? Like, are y'all gonna give him an actual chance?
Star, like, come
are y'all gonna give him a chance? Because he just been sitting on press squad. Like, are y'all gonna give any of these players y'all want to keep so bad a chance? Like, maybe they can add a juice and help us. Like, we need. They gotta figure it out. Mike's gotta he needs to evaluate those assistant coaches seriously on both sides of the ball and see who we need to get out of here because that just
yeah. Just one last topic I want to touch on, Star, before we get out of here. Like, of course after the game, Derry, of course spoke to the media, kind of, which I was surprised about. He kind of spoke a little bit, kind of directing to the fans, apologizing for the loss. Because I'm sure of course everyone felt the shock, felt, just really, the hurt from the loss, like seeing our guys kind of show up like that, so, we saw Jerry kind of, address the media saying that, he really didn't expect to be playing this weekend. He didn't expect us to be, hitting the end of the season, hitting draft season, that everyone's trying to get to. Excuse me, at this point right now, we didn't expect the end of the season right now. So, just some questions we want to, kind of pose to everybody out there listening. And I want to pose to you, Star, like, it's an obvious, question, I don't know, depending on how some fans feel, they may just be so casual, they don't, know what's going on. But do you think he, me personally, I do think he has, but do you think that he's lost the trust of the fans? Just the way that this clean, not just this, and I kind of probably make it hard to take into account, but not just this past Sunday's, performance, but, just the season overall and just how we make, how you may think he thinks of the team.
Yes. And I think that Gary, if he wants to regain the full trust of the fans, one, we know you're keeping Mike, but you're going to have to, for sure, make changes elsewhere. Dan Quinn, do not bring him back, Jerry. Because if you bring him back, you can't sell that. You got to get rid of Dan Quinn because he regressed. The defense regressed. He's taking that defense as high as it can go.
He seems stuck in his ways, like keeping that philosophy. He seems stuck.
He's very stuck in his ways. He's not going to change it. We've got to get rid of him. Another thing, Gary apologized to the fans because the fans really believe this year. Like, yes, there's other times where we're like hoping and wishing, but the fans fully bought in this year because of how that, because of CD, you know, all this stuff. Like, they fully bought in, and then this shit happens to us. So, Gary, you need to make sure you have all the ingredients to win it all. Every freaking year, we have almost all the ingredients, but not all the ingredients. You cannot pass your way to a Super Bowl. You have to. You can't have cereal but no milk. You can't have peanut butter but no milk. You've got to have all of the ingredients.
Period.
You can do a proper evaluation of the team that you built, and you've never had all the ingredients. Y'all want to talk about Dak been here 8 years, and Dak ain't never had all the ingredients. Even when he had, it was Dak and Prime Z. You had a not great play caller, and you had a terrible defense that always in playoffs. If y'all want to know something crazy, Dak Prescott's defense in playoffs over since 2000, since the year 2000, has given up the second highest EPA. Only person ahead of him is Matt Ryan's defense.
I think I saw that tweet, and then someone said, "Well, guess who his defensive coordinator was?" Wow.
Dan Quinn, ours is Dan Quinn. Then he had Rod Marinelli. Like, every time Dak's defense keep doing historical shit that's terrible in playoffs.
Right.
In 2018, over 230, 50 yards. That was the first time in playoff history that's ever occurred.
Please don't mind me about this.
Talking about that 2-5, like, this, shut up.
Please don't mind me about CJ Anderson, girl. Please don't do it. Please.
2016. That defense, I watched the game with what's up first junkie 2016.
Yeah,
defense couldn't stop a thing that first half. Y'all want to talk about Dak struggle? Okay, he was a rookie. He came roaring all the way back, had the game to a tie. And what happened? His defense fell apart. They go on to win the game.
Right. What was it? I think I heard today someone say it was a 3rd and 30 that Green Bay converted.
3rd and 30, they converted. They converted because who was that safety? I forgot that safety. He missed a sack and fumble on Aaron Rodgers. He missed.
Oh my God!
Like, come on, guys. Then you go to 2021. Okay, he's got a good defense. All right, he's got a. But guess what? We wasn't running the ball in 2021. Why? Because we got Kellen Moore who hates running the ball.
Right. It's this, man. We see
like,
the same mistakes pop up every year.
It's the same stuff. Also, defense couldn't stop the run because in 2021 the score was low, but the defense could not stop the run. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
He wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
We couldn't stop the run. That's the only
19 points, y'all. We're seeing 30 points now, 40 points now, but 19 points. The defense showed up and did what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's, you know what I'm saying. So it's we get in those situations, like that's what we talking about. Just unfortunately the constant. I don't want to say what's opposite of continuity, like inconsistency. The constant inconsistency of the Cowboys. Every time they get to big moments, big games, even like Mike McCarthy mentioned earlier in the season, we had playoff teams without playoff consequences. And even in those moments,
you were failing. In those moments, defense failing. I remember in the Dolphins game, Dak and the offense marching straight down the field and won the game. All defense had to do was hold up. They couldn't do it. Damone Clark, face mask, penalty, like the defense let us down so many times this year.
Yeah, it's.
We should have been the number 1 seed. If we win the Miami game, if we were able to sweep the Eagles,
period,
we could have been the number 1 seed. And we could be facing the Packers or whoever the hell, Green Bay or the Lions.
Yeah, who the lowest seed remaining? Lions, I think the Lions remaining because the Rams lost.
No, the Bucks are the lowest remaining seed. They're the first.
Bucks, yeah.
So I mean, no. This year it's the Packers. So the Packers are going to face the 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were in the second round, then. I mean, well, depending on who they played the first round.
Yeah. So it's like fix the defense, get the running game. Mike, I'm sure they need to add more nuance. Well, they've already done it. They already added the nuances. You just need it to where Mike doesn't feel like he needs to get close to the vest and nut up in big moments because his defense is failing. And he's like, I need to be able to pace this drive because if we don't pace this drive, I'll put my defense right back on the field. We're going to lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right, and I'm sure, and that's something we don't want it to start affecting the game plan. We don't want like Mike McCarthy said, like, which not saying I didn't like it, but like in the beginning of the season, he was saying he was kind of playing to the defense. He was, playing according to the defense. We could get the defense out there. We could have the defense, send a message. But we've seen kind of early on what happens when that doesn't go according to plan. What happens when you're dancing? You need
easy buttons. You need something to rely on because that you can keep your defense off the field and keep methodical drives going. But you cannot do that if you don't have a consistent running game. Exactly. If you're constantly all year, Dak Prescott first, he was number one quarterback in third down because we were consistently in third and long. You can't ask your quarterback to all game he gonna convert third long.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if you could consistently run the ball, then like I forgot who said it in the chat, but then you can do the play action off of that. But if you don't have a serious running game, ain't nobody biting on play action.
Right.
Like, nobody's biting on that because they're like, you're not gonna run the ball. Like we were an unserious running team.
And then if you are going to run the ball, you're going to run Tony. At the time, you're going to run Tony Pollard up the middle, and he wasn't getting no yards like that.
Nothing because his vision sucks. When the cut back there, he don't cut back, and when he need to go forward, he's cutting back. Like his vision sucks. Right. So that's Tony Pollard will not be here next year. We already know that.
Yeah, and just on the other side of the ball, as far as third down, that's one thing, and not just third downs, but that's one thing that just seemed to be a constant theme this year. Like. Not only couldn't they get off the field on third down, but also at the same time, like fourth down, also like second down, because we were getting second and long, even some third long situation, like I just mentioned with the third and 30, we would hit, third and 10, third and 12, and somehow, some way, the defense would let allow a conversion, or even if they did have a big stop on third down, we see 4th and 1, 4th and 2, maybe in 4th and 3, and then we see conversion. Like it really just takes the wind out of the sails when it just seems like your defense, no matter what the drive, they can't get off the field. When they can't get stops and the team's able to move in between the 20s and eventually get to the red zone, like we mentioned the other night, 4 out of 4 in the red zone that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. We just need to fix this defense. That's it. Fix this defense. And one last thing I'm gonna say. Was it Mike McCarthy's side of the ball that continued to do penalties throughout the year, or was it the defense? Is it Mike? Does Dak have a podcast? Does they have a podcast?
Right. I mean, shout out to Hankins. He doing his thing. I ain't, Hankins got
two people on that defense got podcast. Okay, let's play back. Is it the offense is giving teams bullet board material like D-Law running his mouth saying we the best defense in the world?
Right. Or D-Law playing. I'm gonna hit him. I'm D-Law. Oh, okay. we seen that, and that's one thing I don't like. I love the talking. I love the grit. I love
the talking, but you don't back it up. So shut up.
Like, I mean, you figure you learn, like, bro, like already in the season you talk and you might get beat. Come on, man, don't do it during playoffs.
Another thing I'll say about this is you do all that talking, you get beat, and it's like D-Law, you're supposed to be the leader on the defense. You're the captain of the ship. So when the defense playing like ass, you're supposed to be able to, like I saw Aaron Donald in the NFC Championship when they were losing, screaming like, "Get it together!" Where's D-Law when we losing?
Just like you be in the pregame huddle.
Yeah,
we need that during the game.
Like, are you our leader or not? So gotta get that together. But Mike McCarthy was he benched Michael Gallup. That was Dan Quinn kept rolling J-Ron Kearse out there. Like,
okay, McCarthy don't play.
His side of the ball was held accountable.
Right. He was getting the ball around. He was getting the ball around to these guys who we may not even got no whip. But we seen last year, Turpin barely even saw the field outside of kick and punt returns with Kellen Moore. I'm saying Tolbert, we only saw him once in the blue moon. And granted, he was young coming into himself, but these players need these reps. I mean, this year we're seeing seeing the young guy, we're seeing the young offensive linemen. You know what I mean? These guys are getting snapped early in the season, so granted, he did make some mistakes along the way, but like Star said, there are some positives that Mike McCarthy was able to improve.
Yes, there's positives, and nobody was trying to fire Mike.
Right.
I mean, there were some people that hated Mike from the beginning. There's some
anyway. Right.
Like they hate Mike. They've been done with him since before he retired. You can't convince those people. But I was definitely not done with Mike before the collapse. So, and if it's not figured out, he will be gone next year.
Yeah.
We don't figure it out. We don't reach the NFC championship. He will be gone next year. He knows that. So
if he ain't the freshman on this path, it's definitely on now.
But Jerry said in his note, he said it's not just Mike. He said front office is accountable as well. There were some things that the front office you could have done better. You could have got some things to shore up some things, especially when you saw we lost linebackers and things like that. You could have told Dan Quinn, I understand you love safeties, but we cannot keep cutting our linebackers.
Please. Like, all we need, not all we need, but can there just be somebody that talk to Dan Quinn like, hey, bro, what you doing right here?
No, we ain't talking to Dan Quinn. He out.
Seattle. No, I'm just talking about at the time.
At the time, But I'm
nobody, to check him. I mean, they were so quick to check him.
No one checked him, and that was Mike's job because Mike, that's your coordinator. You gotta check him, and that's the problem. Mike and Dan, they was too much we're cold. No, Mike, you're the head coach. He's the coordinator. He's not. Y'all not assistant head coaches. You gotta treat him like that, and that's the problem. Mike, he got too lax. You're too lax. You gotta tighten it up.
Yeah.
Tighten it up. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got for y'all tonight. We gave y'all an hour, 15 minutes of content. We hope y'all loved it. Please like the video. Please share. Please subscribe. Mickey, have you cracked 200 subscribers yet?
I think I'm about 5 subscribers away on YouTube from 200. Yeah, y'all.
I'm gonna follow Mickey because I was like, dang, Mickey getting up there. I'm at 172.
I'm trying, y'all. Yeah. We both trying to crack 200, y'all.
Exactly.
Hit the share button, hit the like button. Yeah, we really trying to get our followers up, y'all. Like you said, trying to get our voice out there. Maybe the end of the season, we're gonna keep going. Keep going in the off season. Still bringing y'all some fire shows. We're gonna be like she said earlier. We're gonna get to the draft. Draft season. Unfortunately, sooner than later.
Dwayne Brown. Sorry, before we let up, thank you, Dwayne. I saw you send me a Cash App. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You always donated to me. I really appreciate you donating to me and helping out the channel so much. 100%. So, anyways, guys.
Last minute East Side sliding in. Yeah, go Texans. Congrats, day one. Congrats.
I'm not going to hate on y'all East Side. And I wish the best for y'all. I know y'all been in the drought forever. Y'all ain't never won shit. So if y'all can go in there and beat Lamar Jackson, do it, Eastside.
Look, for real.
You gonna beat Lamar Jackson with CJ Stroud, that defense? Go do it. I pull for y'all. We didn't.
Go ahead with our leftovers, bro. Yeah, little bro. Go ahead and take our leftovers and take it. Hey, go ahead. Like I said,
if y'all can make a push for us, don't do it. We got 5 already, so y'all got at least get y'all first and catch up. But
at least, right, sir? At least, right?
Represent Texas. Go ahead. If y'all can do it, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Anyway,
appreciate you, Dwayne Brown. We really do appreciate you, fans. Thanks everybody in the building. On the Wednesday evening, of course, you guys know it's our weekly show, StarChasers. We're going to keep bringing y'all fire content. Like you said, make sure you guys hit the like button, share button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button. That way we always come through when you always be able to come through when we are live. Just love spending time with you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy the rest of the week. More football coming up. Try to enjoy this weekend, y'all. I know last weekend it was kind of bittersweet. You probably couldn't enjoy some of the game the same. I know I couldn't. I ain't gonna lie. But it kind of got a little easier after seeing the birds kind of go down, so I can enjoy another weekend of football right quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like I was like, once you calm down the emotions, it's like, yeah, I'm interested to see, who is going to to the Super Bowl because it's not guaranteed. In San Francisco,
and
y'all better be careful or y'all get y'all ass showed up because if San Francisco it's divisional,
okay.
Got some,
y'all
now and Shanahan. We start prepping. In the second.
Right, you see that? Oh, really?
Like y'all better hope 49ers fans. Y'all better hope y'all go to the Super Bowl this year because if y'all don't again, anyway.
No, go ahead and tell them, sis. Like, look, y'all keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? When y'all sitting at home, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all last Super Bowl win was before we won our last. So
tell them.
Get tired of everybody. I want to be like the 49ers. Why? They losers too. If we losers, they losers too. Because what if they won?
Right, and just like the Lions just won their first playoff game in the last 30 years. So that's glad we ain't there, y'all.
Talk about people reported like the Lions are such a sad POS organization.
Right, for real.
Y'all better be glad we got first round into the Lions because if we had to face y'all again, y'all was gonna get your ass beat.
Right.
Y'all
know y'all was gonna get it. Right. Talking about
y'all better be glad y'all get to go against Baker Mayfield.
You're right. Go ahead and get the easy path. If we had the easy path, we should have did it. We can say that, but now y'all got it. So let's see what y'all do with it.
Because y'all know y'all wasn't beating us. Because if we had to beat this out of Green Bay, y'all know y'all wasn't going to beat us.
Right. They know that.
So y'all better thank the football guys.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, man. No, you're good. So, hey, like you said, we just hit y'all with a fire show. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share button, retweet us. Hit us with a like. We appreciate you guys coming through. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.